I just wanted to come on here and say that I have been seeing a lot of videos about videos and pictures and posts on Facebook, Instagram, all different platforms of social media, just about parents who sent their kids to daycare and they came home other than how they sent them. Whether it was bite marks, bruises, they came home with like fear of being touched. They came home, all different types of stuff. So just like a lot of different posts where parents have sent their kids to school, schools, primarily daycares, but schools and daycares, and their kids have come home different than how they sent them. Physically, emotionally, and mentally different than how they sent them. And so I just wanted to come on here and say, someone who's been in education for a few years and different types of education, and also someone who has gone to school in different with different types of education, different types of schools, I just want to get on here to give y'all a little word of parental advice, a little bit of parental advice. And this does not justify this education system, and this does not say, put a little pat on the back for the people who abuse these kids. All of that is wrong. I can just outwardly say that is wrong. If, as a parent, I'm sending my child to you, I entrust that you love them, care for them, and educate them the way that I see fit. And I'm entrusting in you while I'm trying to go to work. I'm entrusting in you to do your job to the best of your ability, the way that I'm going to work, to do my job to the best of my ability. And these administrators need to do better screenings of the people in which they hire, because there shouldn't ever be a time where not only did you get past the administration who hired you, did you also get past the parents who sat in parent-teacher conferences or meetings to, see if you were a good fit for their child, and now you got past other staff members, and now you're working directly with these babies and you're hurting them. But I digress. But I just want y'all to know, I just wanted to come on here to give y'all a little bit of, from my experience, a little bit of parental advice on, like, some signs and things that y'all need to do to make sure that y'all putting y'all babies in the best care. So with my experience, my son is only 3, so I got plenty of years to learn more about this. But like I said, I do have experience as being in the education system, one as a paraprofessional, as a teacher's aide, as well as on the administrative side. So from my experience, the number one sign that I see where it's like, that place is not a good fit for your child, number one, if you can't schedule a parent-teacher conference or pop up on your child whenever you see fit. All these schools nowadays, they have, you have to, schedule a meeting time a month in advance. You have to be escorted to the classroom. Listen, my baby is in y'all's care. So I want to be able to, and I know there's certain extreme circumstances where, certain parents can't come to the school because of whatever, legalities or different things like that. But for the most part, I should be able to pop up at a school if a teacher calls me and say, my child doing this, that, and the third. The next day, I should be able to pop up at the school, random time, and check on my child. And if you give me, if he's in a school where y'all giving me a hard time about popping up on my child after y'all called me to tell me something about my child that he's not doing, that's not a school for him. Because I need you to know that you called me, so I'm coming to handle it right then and there. I want to be, even if my child is doing good, even if you didn't call me to say he's doing something bad, I want to be able to pop up at any given moment and let y'all know that me and the teacher, me and the staff, me and the administration, we are on one accord. And it takes a village to raise a child, and I'm popping up to check on my child, the other children that's around my child, and I'm also coming to pop up and check up on the teacher to make sure that the teacher doing what they're supposed to do. So any school that put you through loops and hoops in order to come and see your child, it's not a school for you and for your child. That's number one. Number one, period. Number two, if your child, number one, so when I was taking my son to find different schools, because for those of you who don't know, my child is not diagnosed, but in my educational professional opinion, he is hyper. He's hyper, and he has a hard time focusing and sitting still, and he also has a hard time taking direction from authority. And that's something that I'm working with him at home, but sometimes I feel that I've done too much of teaching him, like the academic side, and I didn't spend a lot of time with him on the behavior side. So now I'm revamping the way in which I teach him, because we cannot start education if you can't sit down in your seat. So, but I digress again. But so one of the things that we did when we were trying to find the right school for him, we took him with us to different school visits. And, he walked around, he looked at the schools and different things like that, and he got to see the inside and the outside and different things like that. And there was 2 places that we went where he was like, I don't like it here. I don't want to go here. Just from him walking through. Just from his little, at the time he was 2, his 2-year-old spirit, he said, I don't want to go here. I'm not going to like it here. And of course, as a mom, you think, you want to stay with mommy, you're going to miss home. You got to ask questions. It was something more to it than that. He was like, the kids are not nice. I said, what made you say that? And he said to me, he took something for him and he stuck his tongue out. Okay, so if my son was able to see that and a staff person wasn't able to see that, and he was able to say, Mommy, I don't want to go here, just based off of how I saw that kid interact with another kid and nobody did anything about it. He already got that vibe. So you got to listen to your children. You got to know. And one of the schools, I'm going to tell you this right now. One of the schools, I even after he said he didn't want to go to the school, I considered sending him anyway. Right? Dumb me, yeah. I considered sending him anyway, because I thought it was something like, oh, he's just gonna miss his mommy. Oh, he likes his old school better than going to a new school. Or it's an adjustment. We moved. Oh, everything is changing. We moved from a different town. Now we going to change the school, and I considered sending my child to that school. And it wasn't until I went back to visit the school on my own that I had to say, wait a minute, no. I'm not sending my baby here. He was right. He was right about his feelings. So, y'all, you really got to talk to your child. You really got to know, what it is that a school is focused on. And is that what you want them to focus on when it comes to your child? Now, my third point, and my last point, because I can go on with this topic for days, just based off of the foolishness that I've been seeing with these different schools and different programs abusing these babies. But the last point, and probably the most important point, your child's education needs to be higher on the list of importance. I'm going to say that again. Your child's education needs to be higher on the list of importance. And I'm talking to my black mothers, my black single mothers, my black mothers in relationships, my black married mothers. I'm primarily talking to my black mothers, but take it if the shoe fit. But so often we get caught up in providing a home, providing the food, providing the clothes, providing the, making sure that they're having a good time. We get so caught up in, providing them extracurricular activities. We get so caught up in providing that sometimes we feel like, all right, well, he's just gonna go to the school closer to the house because I need to be able to pick him up at 5, and that school let out at 4:45. That school let out at 5:45, so it'll give me enough time to get him and then pick up his brother from. So many times we compromise what's best for our child to be, whether it's convenient, financially savvy, or whatever it may be. Our child's education in general needs to be higher up on the list of importance. So I feel, this is my own opinion, again, take it if the shoe fits, leave it if it don't. My opinion, it needs to be shelter, food, education. Clothes and all that fly stuff, extracurricular activities, all that stuff, that can come after that. Because those three things will determine the way in which your child survives in the world. Clothes is not important. So, I say shelter, food, and education. Top three. And I put them in this order because I put education so much higher up on the totem pole, because if you gotta choose between a good school for your kids and cable in your house, you need to choose a good school for your kids. If you need to choose between a really good school and paying for aftercare, or sending them to gymnastics, you need to put them in a really good school and pay for aftercare. There might be some things as a mother, as a woman, that you have to choose to cut out for the benefit of your child's education. You can't let anybody and everybody watch your kids. You can't let anybody and everybody educate your kids. And too frequently, so I'm gonna tell y'all another story. So I went in my neighborhood, right? So I was working in an out-of-district school, and I was giving up all my time and energy into this out-of-district school with kids that don't look like my kid and kids that don't look like me. And I was just like, you know what, enough is enough. Enough is enough. I need to pull my energy and I need to pull myself back into my community. So I applied to a daycare that was in my neighborhood, because I've always been trying to get back to the special needs population and early childhood development, but that's another story. That's gonna come later. But anyway, so I applied to a daycare, and so I went to visit this daycare in my neighborhood, and I watched from 6 in the morning to 6 at night for 3 days straight. That was part of my observation to decide if I even wanted to take in a job. For 3 days straight, I worked from I watched from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. unpaid, and just watched. And some people were surprised that I was willing to watch unpaid, take off from my other job just to come to this place to watch unpaid. And so, but I did it because I really wanted to see what was the difference from the school that I was currently working at to coming to my neighborhood and working at a school that's in my neighborhood. So I watched. The first thing I observed is parents dropping their kids off, rushing to work, but not even talking to the teacher. They come in, drop the kid off, lay the kid down, throw the clothes and stuff in the closet, not even talking to the teacher. I was a visitor in a room. They didn't even acknowledge who I was. So you dropping your baby off to somebody in a school, somewhere in a classroom, and it's unfamiliar people in there sitting down, mind you. Sitting down, hanging out, and you ain't even questioning, like, okay, who is that? Okay, where the teacher at? Can I say good morning? Can I see what's going on? Nothing. You ain't, no. You know, your work schedule is so much that important that you gonna leave your baby with some stranger and not even say, who are you? Hold on, y'all. Let me order my coffee and my munchkins for my baby. Can I help you? Hi, yes. Can I have a medium coffee, black? Can you just fill it up like 3/4 of the way?
No problem. Yeah.
And a box of chocolate munchkins.
Okay. Is that all?
That's it.
All right.
Thank you. So yeah, I had to get him and my 2 other clients some munchkins because they had a good week last week, so I stopped to get them some munchkins. Sorry, y'all. But yeah, so So you just dropping your baby off to any old body, and you don't know who is and who ain't and who is around, gonna be around your baby. Nah, y'all, we gotta do better than that. That's number one. Then, that's not only the first thing that I observed.
431.
The next thing was that,
Here.
thank you. You too, honey. So the next thing that I observed was these babies coming in 6 o'clock in the morning, and then y'all leaving them there until 6 o'clock at night. So 12 hours, half the day. They come in sleepy. They come in sleep, and then when they leave, they sleep. They get in breakfast, lunch, and snack at this place 12 hours a day just for you to pick them up and then put them to bed, and you ain't checking in to see who these people are. The ones who come the earliest leave the latest. So you mean to tell me you working a 12-hour shift, you left your baby in somebody else's care for 12 hours, and you ain't talk to them, you ain't find out what's going on, you ain't up to date on what they need and what they learning and different things like that? Another thing, I'm gonna tell y'all. So this particular place, I'm gonna tell you why I didn't even accept the job at this particular place. So I asked them what was their form. My baby, his munchkins, he earned them today. I asked them what was their form of communication with the parents. They said to me, well, if we have a problem with a kid, when a parent come pick them up, we tell them. So I said, it's only if y'all have a problem with a kid? So only if a kid is behavior problem is it that you communicating with the parents? What? This my village, but this is my child. I want to know his day every day. I want to know how well he's doing every day, whether good, bad, indifferent. I want to know what he's learning. I want to know is he progressing. I want to know if he's tired. I want to know if he's hungry. Did I send enough snacks? I want to know every day some form of communication. How is my baby doing? Because I'm sending him to y'all for y'all to be in his care, for him to be in y'all care for a certain period of time. But at the end of the day, if something was to happen to my baby during that time, what y'all gonna do? Get on the phone to call me to come here and do the situation. So he my baby 24 hours a day. So what I expect to y'all is for y'all to communicate to me every single thing that's going on throughout the day, every day. Oh, we don't have time for that. This ain't the school for me. This ain't the school for me, and this ain't the school that I'm sending my baby to, because y'all need to make time for that. If y'all got 3 teachers in the room or 3 staff personnel in the room, y'all need to give each one an additional 15 minutes so that they can write in little notebooks to each parent how their day went. It don't take much. It really, truly don't take much. So look, this ain't the place for me, because I want to know what's going on. And another thing, I'm sorry, y'all, this people can't drive. And another thing is that y'all, sometimes you have to pay more. This goes back to my last point. But sometimes you have to pay a little bit more for your baby to be watched a little bit better. Now, and that's something I'm going to tell you directly from my experience. My son was going to an amazing school, amazing daycare. He was going to an amazing daycare with an amazing woman, amazing black Christian married woman who understood the importance of black Christian love and family and education amongst our black Christian boys. And because my finances changed, the first thing I said, all right, well, then I'm just going to have to cut, was his school. I'm like, I'm paying too much for his school. And so I said, when I could be getting assistance from the government and I could put him in a school that I won't have to pay nothing or pay a little bit, and because she didn't take the assistance from the government, I can find another school to put him in. I put him in another school, and right away, I saw a difference in my child's learning, education, and understanding. Right away. And I kept him in the school for a whole year, so I wasted. And this is my own personal regret, but I wasted one whole year of my child's sponge phase. The phase where he just absorbed anything that you give him, he will absorb. I wasted 1 year, him watching kids bite, fall on the floor, not learning, and he regressed. He didn't want to spell his name. He didn't want to read his sight words. He didn't want to do anything because he wasn't being forced to do it at a school that he was at for 10 hours a day. And I realized, like, no. Wait a minute. His education needs to be higher on the important list. So what I cut instead? Cable. What I cut instead? Getting my hair done at the hair salon. Figured out how to go on YouTube and do it myself. What I cut? Premium gas. I went down to regular gas. And I just figured out a way. And, you know, everybody got their thing that they not willing to sacrifice. But it ain't nothing that I'm not willing to sacrifice over the education of my child. And when you think about it like that, you will find a place that you might have to spend a little bit of money for. And I say all that to say that he back in his school that he was originally in, and he will be there until he's 5 years old. But I say all of that to say, as a community, we gotta put our child's education higher up on the list of importance. After shelter and food, our child's education needs to be right there. Because if they have those things, the odds are already stacked against them because they are black babies. But if they have those basic things, the clothes and all that stuff, that could come later. If we provide them with that basic foundation of shelter, food. I'm not talking about love. I'm not talking about, you know, emotional connection. I'm not talking about those things. I'm talking about things that you physically have to pay for. Because all of that is important. Let me not disregard that. All of that is important as well. But I'm talking about things that you physically have to pay for. Our kids' education needs to be higher up on that list. And if it's not right after shelter and food, you need to reevaluate what you're doing as a parent. You need to reevaluate what you're doing as a parent. And I already worked at a job. I've already worked at a job that didn't see the importance of parents. Ooh, I'm going to say that again. I already worked at a job that didn't value my role as a parent. And you know what I had to do? Say goodbye. Say goodbye, because that job wasn't high up on my list. My child's education was important. So if I had to be there for back to school night and parent teacher conference night and you can't understand that, oh, it's time for me to go. It's time for me to find somewhere else to go. If they got fathers bring your kid to work day and my son's father can't take him to work, he need to leave that job. And gotta provide. Gotta provide. You pray, you ask God, you leave it in his hands and he'll provide. And every time And every time, I'm sorry, y'all. This is my I'm show y'all. This is my concoction that I put in this little bottle. I went and got a coffee, black, from Dunkin' Donuts, as y'all saw. But I wanted to make it bulletproof, so I added my cream. What else? Cinnamon, stevia, coconut oil, MTC oil, and I put it in this little bottle here. And I'm gonna just pour it right into my coffee, and then I will have bulletproof coffee that I purchased from Dunkin' Donuts and added my little concoction to. But yeah, so basically we just gotta, you know, put our child's education higher up on the list. And if Rahima and them just babysitting and whoever else just babysitting your kid for $10 or $15 a day and they ain't learning nothing, your child's education not high enough for me. It's not high enough for me. So, you know, if y'all need help in an Essex County, New Jersey area with finding schools that is better for your child and better for you, and maybe a little bit more difficult on your pocket, but you ready to make a way, comment down below, because I sure enough will help you. I sure enough will help you. But it's never okay to sacrifice your child's safety, education, understanding for anything. So, like I always let y'all know, this is my opinion. This is how I feel about the situation, and this is not, you know, the law of the land or anything like that, but this is my personal opinion. So, you know, if you want to hear more from me and more about different schools and education and, you know, my experiences, stay close, stay blessed, stay subscribed.